We are live. What's up, y'all? How you guys doing? Hope you guys are having an absolutely amazing. Man, it's Tuesday evening, isn't it? It's crazy how the weeks fly by, man. But tonight I have the distinct pleasure of just interviewing an absolute superstar. We got Joe here tonight. He's one of our accepted system winners, but really what we're here to do tonight is for him to share his story. So Joe, I don't know if you're going to be able to see the comments because they're on Facebook. So I'm actually going to be like reading them on my phone. So if you have like a device, feel free to hop on that.
Yeah, let me open them up. People, what's going on? Joe Piscopio. Joseph, I appreciate you so much. Very nice to meet you guys, and I'm ready to fire you guys up. You have no idea what you're in for tonight.
Y'all, Joe messaged me before this, and he was like, yo, I am so pumped. I'm so ready. So when I see somebody that's excited to share their story and experience, I get excited because I'm a high energy guy. But hopefully tonight, well, forget hopefully, I know tonight's going to inspire y'all. So can't wait for it. We have Brenda joining us live. We have Seth. We have Natalie. We have Iris. Great to have every single one of y'all here tonight. Hope y'all are as impacted as I have been by Joe's story. And so what we've been doing is this. For those of y'all that have never seen us before, this is your first video. My name is Joseph. I'm one of the co-founders of Pre-PT Grind, and our job, well, what we do is just get y'all into PT school mainly, right? And so what we've been doing is we're on a series, and this is episode 7 of this series, where we're bringing in like superstars. So students that have been through everything y'all are experiencing right now, whether it's anxiety, stress, like GRE struggles, GPA, you name it. But what we're doing is we're saying, hey, instead of just telling you about it, why can't we just show you people that have lived through it and gotten to the side that you want to get to, which is getting into PT school, right? So what we've been doing is through this series, we're just bringing them in and they're sharing their story, their ups, their downs, so that you can relate and you can realize, shoot, like I actually do have the ability to get into PT school. Like I might have to deal with a few things. I might have to handle a few things a little differently, but I actually do have the ability to crush it and get into a physical therapy program like these other winners. And I hope that's what it is for you. So Joe, thank you so much for joining us here tonight, man. I can't wait for you to serve the people. Before we dive in, is there anything you kind of want to like introductory that you want to kind of say about yourself before we go all in?
Yeah, sure. So Joseph put a comment in the initial post highlighting tonight's interview. So just a little bit about myself. It's just kind of detailed that. So I went to North Carolina State University. I'm 23 years old right now. I majored in science, technology, and society, basically sports science with a bio combined minor. And from there, I knew that I had to do something about my pre-PT journey because, you know, I'm gonna let Joseph carry that on. We're gonna take it from there.
Man, yo, if y'all didn't read what he wrote beforehand, y'all are missing out. So let's just dive in, Joe. Like, let's actually go even before that. Why, why PT overall? Because I think for pre-PTs, it's insanely important to understand why you're doing what you're doing, right? Like, 100%. If I'm married to my wife, I better know why I'm married to her, right? So as a pre-PT, like what led you to say physical therapy is the path that I want to lock in on?
For me personally, there were a lot of factors that led up to it. I'd say the most important factor out of everything, it comes from a little bit of a soft spot in my life. So my father, when I was about 6-7 years old, he was working, doing route deliveries, carrying boxes on trucks, and he ended up getting a back injury. And after he got the injury, he was prescribed opioids. However, he didn't decide to go to physical therapy. He decided to take the route, like, I'm going to go back to work. I'm going to stick with the prescription meds and I'm going to be fine. So lo and behold, give it some time. He ends up actually deciding to renew his prescription a couple more times than he probably should have. And that in time led to an opioid addiction. So from there, it just started kind of the downfall of our family. I know I'm making it sound a little bit dramatic, but to me, this was a very important time in my life. This is when I was just becoming a young man. I was trying to learn, understand things. And I couldn't understand why my parents were arguing, why they were fighting all the time. And it stems back to roots so deep like that. So, and that's huge in physical therapy, is just being able to utilize that as a form of treatment aside from opioids. And that combined with the fact that I've been an athlete my entire life, the fact that I'm interested in the fitness space, and the fact that I can help people that are in a similar situation to me, all of those kind of culminating together, that just, it made it perfectly clear for me that physical therapy. There was no other option.
Man, like that, I'm sure that left a significant impression on you. So, like, how has that shaped? How has that shaped what you want to do? Like, yes, PT kind of
Yeah.
really helps people like alleviate a lot of things that they're going through without having to, take medication and all that other stuff. But
Exactly.
specifically, has that shaped kind of what you want to do specifically in PT, or you're still kind of figuring that out right now?
I'm still kind of figuring it out.
Yeah.
But what I do know is I also worked with my school's football team, and I know that there's a lot of injuries that happen over the course of that time. And I know not every injury ends up being resolved the same way. And unfortunately, you hear stories in the NFL, NBA, all these professional leagues of people ending up going off the deep end. And I want to be someone who can be able to be kind of that source of support, someone who can provide that kind of care that they don't have to worry about that happening to them. And that's the most important thing, is creating that kind of sense of security.
Man, I can't agree more. I can't agree more. The thing is too, like with athletes and with, it's almost easier to tell with someone who's very transparent about like kind of what they're feeling, right? But usually when we can see it physically, it's too late. It's like further down, and it's affected so many other things.
Exactly.
It's so hard. Like, you'll see athletes and you'll have no idea, because they look healthy, they look this, they look happy. They, like, you would never know that they've relied so heavily on medication, and it's become like their crutch, right? And without it,
Exactly.
other things happen. So man, I love that. I love the fact that you took something that was hard to experience, especially for your family, and said, you know what, I want to make sure that a lot of other people don't go through what my father went through. So
100%.
man, that's amazing. Well, tell us a little bit about your journey, bro. So now that you decided, man, like, I want to help a lot of people with their journey. I want to make sure that they're not like having to stay stuck and having to rely on medicine and all this other stuff that most people do, because they have no idea. They have no clue that they could just go somewhere and someone can literally teach them how to let their body heal itself. It's crazy, right? So
Exactly.
for you though, now when you had locked in your pre-PT, what was your biggest struggle as a whole? Like, throughout your whole process, from the moment you decided I want to be a physical therapist till right now, when you're already accepted into PT school, like, what was your biggest struggle during that process?
My biggest struggle, honestly, was just starting, because I had it in my head. I knew what I wanted to do. I was adamant that I wanted to do physical therapy, but it was passion to mine. And at the end of the day, it comes down to procrastinating, because they're afraid to make that move to actually start studying for the GRE, to start potentially reaching out to schools. And most people don't know where to start. I know I don't want to speak for everybody, but from where I came from, I had no idea where I was going to start from.
Whew, you just touched on a serious topic, because most of the time, like, I mean, we give it different names. So most students I see, I don't know what you saw, Joe, as a pre-PT, but most students are usually waiting for the application cycle to kind of get close. And then it's like this pressure. It's like, okay, now I really have to figure it out, because I've had no idea what to do up until this point. And then from there, it's like, let's just try to do all this stuff. And then they cross their fingers and hope for the best. And they're like, I hope I get in. But what you were telling me is like, what it sounds like you're saying, which I actually agree with, is the fact that for a lot of pre-PTs, like, a lot of the procrastination just comes from not knowing what to do, right? So when you don't know what to do, you're just like I'll just push it off, because it becomes this thing that you don't understand. So for you though, like, what got you to kind of like light it and start that process?
I was just thinking one day, I graduated in May of 2018, and I took the entire year to kind of function as a gap year, so I could work, save some money, get some more experience in the field. And that gap year had come to an end. It'd been a full year since I graduated. Application cycle was going to open up again in that July. And I was still kind of contemplating exactly what I wanted to do. I'm like, do I really want to be a PT? Because I've been working in the fitness space. Can I get the same career out of fitness that I can get in physical therapy? And all those things kind of culminating together had me just kind of frozen in my footsteps. And I just ended up pushing the process. I'll do the work tomorrow. Tomorrow became the next day, then the next week, then the next month. The next thing I know, it's October, and I hadn't done anything. And it was at that point where I'm like, I feel awful about this. I wasted all this time when I could have been proactive, putting myself in a very good place. And it was after that application cycle, I decided, I'm like, I got to do something about this. I got to lock down. That's when I first started looking into pre-PT grind. I hadn't made the decision at that point to fully invest, but I was reaching out, trying to figure out outlets that could help guide me in the right direction. And I found pre-PT grind. And then from there, I started following you and Casey, was looking at the videos every so often. And then time passes. I'm like, all right, I'm going to get on it this time. And then stumbles July of the following year. So this is July of 2019 now at this point.
You had started October of 2018, right?
Yes, sir. October 2018, to clarify. So it's July of 2019 at this point. The application window's open. I get an email from PT Cast. I'm like, all right, now's the time. I ain't messing around this time. Picked up the phone, went on Facebook, clicked on the pre-PT grind link, and I started messaging you guys. And you guys got back to me very fast. I'm like, I am dead serious about this. I am done messing around. I'm ready to buckle down. I want to get to work. And then on that same day, I took a phone call, spoke with Casey for about 20 minutes.
Done.
After that, sealed the deal.
And just like that, you were in the accepted system. Well, like let me ask the listeners, y'all listening right now, how many of y'all like, and I've been part of it, but we're gonna call it procrastination nation, right? So like, who's part of that nation? Like, by that, what I mean is, like, how many of you have found yourself like, and this could be with anything. This could be with your classes. This could be with the whole process. And many times, like, I mean, don't beat yourself up for it, guys. Like many times it's just because we don't know. Like think about it. Like if I'm waiting for the application cycle to begin, like most of what's stressing me out is the fact that like I just don't know what to expect. Like I don't know. Like I don't know what PT Cast is going to look like. I don't know what the schools want to hear. I don't know what to write on the essay. I don't know what the interview is going to look like. I don't know this. I don't know that. So what happens is we build it up so much, and really that's why a lot of us struggle with it. Like, have y'all had those moments where you just felt like, man, like it just feels like there's too much? So I'd rather just maybe I'll push it off till tomorrow or next week. And by it could be literally locking in and starting to understand what you need to do next, whether that's starting to research PT Cast, whether that's starting to figure out, okay, I didn't do so well on the GRE. Like, what do I have to do next? Like, have you guys just caught yourself doing that? Like just feeling stuck. And because you were stuck, you just pushed it off over and over and over. You're not alone at all, because it's human nature for us to push things off like that. But Joe also made like an important point. He realized at some point, he was like, shoot, I could either wait and be a victim to that, or I can say, yo, I need to actually like get it together. And he's right. I actually remember reading the messages when they came through. Like Joe wasn't playing around. Like he was like, okay, guys, I'm ready to figure out I have big goals. I got school. I mean, y'all will hear in just a little bit how he got to his number one school. Like you don't get to your number one school by just like crossing your fingers and just waiting to see what happens. It doesn't work like that, right? And so for Joe, like Joe, what can you tell people about like someone who is stuck right now? They're not procrastinating just because they want to procrastinate. That's why I said it like that, because I want people to understand, like, oh my goodness, maybe I'm not procrastinating just to do it. Maybe I'm doing it for another reason. Maybe I'm doing it because I'm scared. Like Sam said, very true. Brandon says me. Yeah, like maybe I'm nervous. Maybe I just have no idea what to do. Like, what would you say to someone that's in that position right now?
I was going to say 9 times out of 10, there's always an underlying reason as to why you're procrastinating. You're not doing it for no reason. And I'd say 10 times out of 10, it's because you're extremely excited about something, but you're very nervous to take the next step because of what's to come in the future. And I totally understand it could be overwhelming. I was in those shoes. Like Joe just mentioned, you got to worry about the essay, get in contact with the right people, interview process, GREs, what to fill out on the application. There's a whole bunch of stuff to worry about. And especially if you're going it alone without the proper guidance, like, honestly, I don't know what I would have done without you guys. I'm like eternally grateful for your guys' help in the process. But what my best advice to you guys would be, well, number one, first and foremost, seek these guys' help because they do know what they're talking about. I can speak very profoundly on that. And secondly,
appreciate that, man.
No, of course, man, of course. just take it step by step. Take it one day at a time, break it down into one little piece of one thing that you got to do. Instead of thinking about all 10 things that you got to do by the end of the application window, take it one piece at a time. Say, all right, today, even if it's writing your first sentence of your essay, of your personal statement, that's a start. That's more than you've done if you've done nothing.
I can't even say it better than Joe said it. Like, real talk. You have to you have to decide. Like, it's a decision. I have to decide to act now. Whatever you know. Like, so forget trying to like master everything at once. That's just not the norm, right? So figure out from what I know right now, from what I have in front of me. Maybe it's things I've watched on YouTube. Maybe inside of this Facebook group. Maybe it's things I've heard from classmates of mine that have already gotten into PT school. From what I know, what can I actively right now do to make sure that I'm moving one step closer? Because what happens is, if we're delaying it, like if we say, you know what, I'll start next week, I'll start in May because that's close to the application. Well, what happens is you actually put yourself at a disadvantage. So what's happening is, with the application process, you find yourself like clawing, like trying to get back to where you had the ability to be all along. You had the ability to control all this stuff, but you're finding yourself clawing back at it because you just waited. You waited. But the honest truth is, here's the beautiful thing. I mean, and Joe, tell me if this is true or not. The beautiful thing about starting to actually take action is the fact that it's momentum. So it starts to get easier. So once you make the small one, that's why I loved what Joe said. Like, he was like, yo, if it's the essay, like, let me just chip away at, like, shoot, let me just do the opening. Let me write my name on it or something. Like let me open the document, right? So that now, like, it becomes easier to take action the day after that. And then, like, it's momentum, but you can't start it. Like, you can't build momentum and actually have an impact on your application process if you don't start. Like, a boulder can't roll down a hill if it doesn't start, like, if it's not pushed, or if there's nothing to initiate it at the top. So that's massive. And I'm glad that you touched on that, Joe. Man, anything else on that topic before we dive into the next question that you want to say?
Just kind of like following up on what you're talking about, momentum. Momentum is huge, guys. Like, if you started one day, maintaining that consistency, compounding the days on the days of the work, you are going to be extremely surprised with how much you get done in such a short period of time if you maintain that consistency. And it's going to feel so good after you get it done too.
Oh yeah.
It's going to feel so good after you get it done the first day that you're going to want to get that same feeling the second day and the days to follow, that it's just going to be flowing.
Man. Do you do public speaking, bro?
Listen, man, one day I'm trying to get it.
You're just
practice. We'll call it practice.
You're a really good, like, public communicator. You have this energy about you that I actually enjoy. See, I'm just like, I
appreciate that, man.
We're talking like no one else is listening to us right now, but you have an amazing way of communicating. But man, I couldn't agree more, bro. Let's dive into the next question. So for you, after starting to kind of like starting to absorb information in October of 2019, you said, yo, I'm ready to stop playing around. And you joined our program. You joined the Accepted System. Like, how did the Accepted System help you solve a lot of the questions and problems that you had as a whole leading up to now being accepted into PT school?
So as a whole, collectively, there was a resource for absolutely any question that I had. And if those resources did not maintain, if they didn't have the answer to my questions, I would reach out to either you or Casey. I'd have an answer within 24, 48 hours. Everything was right there at my fingertips. And I'm like, all right, what am I really going to be getting for my investment of both my time and my money? And I was really not disappointed. I wouldn't be on this call right now if I was disappointed with the product that I got. They really deliver on it. That's a promise.
Man, I appreciate that. Thanks, man. So, like, what about, like, specifically, like, what were specific things that you were struggling with that you were like, man, like, this really helped me with that? And how did it do that?
Okay, so the main things that I was struggling with was, I would say the interview was probably my number one thing that I was struggling with, especially since it's Stony Brook. It's a group interview, and I had no experience beforehand with group interviews. I've had plenty of job interviews where it was one-on-one. I was comfortable with that, but a group interview was totally foreign to me. I'd never done anything like it. So you guys provided a whole bunch of advice on that. I had 2 days before my interview, I was frantically trying to get in touch with anybody. And man, you got in touch with me the Monday before my interview. My interview was on a Friday, and I had another conversation with Casey on a Wednesday. You guys both got in touch with me in the same dang week.
Dang. And you killed it.
Yeah, I did kill it. Lo and behold.
Freaking killed it, man. Well deserved too. Well deserved, man. Like, how did it feel to finally get accepted into that program? Tell us about the big day.
Man, I was so ecstatic. You got no idea. Like, and it was in a pretty, I guess, profound fashion based on what I've heard from other people that have been through the process. So I applied. I had my interview on a Friday.
Yep.
I got an email back from my interviewer the following Wednesday. So this is 5 days afterwards. I got a personal email from the person who had interviewed me. And he's like, Joe, I am extremely impressed with that interview. I've been interviewing many people, but you and your buddy who you had interviewed with put on one of the most informative and engaging displays that I've ever seen in my years of doing this. And I look forward to having you in the class of 2023. And I had to like double take when I read it. I was like, wait a minute, that did not just happen. I read through it again and my heart shot through my chest. And I was so dang happy. I was working at the time because I was working at the time as an aide, and I had to kind of like keep my cool. If I had been on my own, I would have lost it.
Yeah, you.
I was trying to contain the excitement, but man, I was on 110 in here.
Man, oh my goodness! Like, did you say anything to anybody in there? Like,
100%.
Okay,
I went in there, I went like this. I'm like, baby, I'm in.
Oh, you better let him know. You better let him know, man. Because like for a second there, I was like, "Yo, did he keep this thing a secret? Like while at work?" Man, yeah, bro. Like, for those of y'all listening, I know we're here having fun, but what, like, real talk? What would that day mean for you? Like, really ask yourself that. Like, what would that day like really look like for you? What would it feel like? Whether you're working, you're as a tech like Joe was, or you'd be at home. Like have you dreamed about that day? Like, have you processed what feelings you'll have? Like, because the honest truth is this. Like, for me, like, let me use an example. So one thing is, like, my wife and I don't have a kid yet, right? So sometime in the near future we might have a kid, right? So right now we don't have a child. But because like we know of what our plans are to have a kid, like the actions that we take now in our careers are to prepare like life for that child that doesn't exist yet. Like we literally, like, when we talk about it, like, I want a daughter, I'm not gonna lie, but like when we talk about it, you can feel the excitement in the room. And so what that does is it drives us to lock in. It drives us to do things that we otherwise wouldn't do for ourselves. Because we're like, yo, we have to do everything in our power to create an amazing world and life for this baby that it's not even exist, like, that doesn't even exist yet, right? So for you as a pre-PT, it's just as important. Like, do you spend time like processing, like, what's that day going to look like? What am I going to feel like? How am I gonna, like, what am I gonna be wearing? Like, where am I going to be? What are my parents going to say? Like, are they gonna scream, cry? Like, am I gonna cry? Like is it like
I was about there.
Hey, listen, if you were by yourself, I'm pretty sure you would have just like been a mess, right?
Expanding upon that, like Joseph is saying, visualization is huge. You got to carry yourself like you're already going to be accepted to the school. That's the number one thing that I think made a difference personally within myself, is visualizing myself in the shoes as a Stony Brook physical therapy student, telling myself every day, I'm going to get that acceptance letter, reflecting, constantly visualizing, like he's saying, visualizing the scenario. Who's going to be there? What it's going to feel like? What school's going to feel like on the first day when it starts? Like, that makes such a significant difference in your ability to, number one, take the action to do the work in the first place.
Yeah.
And number two, if you carry yourself like it, you're going to go into every part of the process with the confidence like you're going to get accepted. And that is the number one key thing.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Don't let all the work that you guys put into this process be in vain. You have to become the person. And we're going to talk about that a little bit this Sunday. I don't know if you guys have registered already, but if you haven't already, this Sunday, we're doing a free training. It's a free masterclass. It's going to be next level. Like, if you're trying to take yourself up another level as a pre-PT and get yourself into the best position to lock into PT school, like you want to be there. It's literally the process we used to help Joe get locked into PT school. But and the link for that, if someone wants to put this in the comments, is www.leveluptheprept.com. Leveluptheprept.com. Literally, like, and I don't know the next time that we're going to do it, so you might want to just take care of yourself and sign up for it. But the biggest thing is like you have to become the person. You have to in your head become that accepted student, because it literally carries out in everything you do. Like I tell students all the time, like you can prepare for an interview, you can know what to do, but just because I know what the answers to the questions are, just because I know what to say, just because like I've done all the hard work, doesn't mean it's actually going to come off as that. So I actually get students that will talk to me. They're like, oh man, like I prepared, I worked so hard, I did this, and I'm like, so how'd it go? It was terrible. I fell apart. I this. I that. Well, they weren't the person. The person already like walks in there understanding, yo, it's a done deal. Like, and it's not arrogance. It really isn't. Like, trust me on that. Like, what it is, it's a firm belief that everything you have to offer as you and who you are, you don't have to be anybody else. You don't have to like showboat. You don't have to like overcompensate for what you think you lack. You are just like you at your highest like level, like literally like the most confident version of you, like the you that you are with your closest friends, the you that you are with your family, the people that love you, the people that aren't even going to judge you. That's the version of you that's got to show up, because that's the version of you that really, to be honest, doesn't really care what anybody thinks about them. When I'm at home, I could literally, man, I wish I had it on me right now. I have this like, it's like hat. It's like a tiger hat, man. I'm gonna wear it for a live stream one time just to prove a point. I wear that thing in my house all the time. If y'all saw me, you'd be like, "Oh, Joseph's crazy." No, I don't care. Like, I'm gonna wear it because I like it, right? So the biggest thing is like, is that version of you going to show up? That version of you that just like doesn't have any fear about what anyone might say. Well, that's the version that if you literally take everything you've prepared for, if you show up as that, then it's game over. Like I'm not surprised that Joe got hit up, like contacted 5 days later with a message saying, yo, man, like you blew us out. Like you were mind blowing. Like you were amazing. Like they literally told you were in before the official letter came in, right? Like,
yes, sir.
That's why you were confused. You were like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
like, are they saying that I'm in? Like,
exactly.
like what? like they were impatient. So as a pre-PT, you have to become that person. You have to become the applicant that's so like literally like your true self should be emitting in so many different ways because of how confident you are in what you bring to the table. That, I mean, for the right program, it's a done deal. That's how it should work. But most of the time we're trying to be someone we're not. Most of the time we're trying to overcompensate for our nervousness. Y'all, it's okay to be nervous. Stop tripping about it. Like I still get nervous with half the live streams I do, and I've done hundreds, right? So like nervousness is normal, but you have to like start reinterpreting it a little different. Like Joe, I tell myself that nervousness is like something amazing waiting to happen.
Exactly.
Like when I feel it, it's like, okay, well, this interview, bro, something amazing is about to go down.
Exactly,
like something
man.
amazing is about to happen. Let's do this. I'm scared as heck, but it's about to be great.
Even expanding on that, man, just like, sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good, bro.
Even expanding on that, like with that being said, I was absolutely terrified going into that interview. I'm talking this talk like I was 100% macho man going into it. No, I was still terrified. I was confident in my abilities, but I was terrified going into that interview. But if you go in having done the work, the passion will shine through. That is probably the best advice that I can give you. If the passion is there, the passion will shine through. The work will show, because you will just start spewing things that you know you had in you.
I can't say it better. I can't say it any better. Joe, what is one last piece of wisdom? Now, you've been through this process, man. Like, you've gone through like your entire journey as a pre-PT to getting accepted into Stony Brook. What would you say? Like, because earlier on, we were joking about, you a year ago, right? And we were saying, man, like, where were you at a year ago? And you were saying, yo, a completely different mental place and everything. So for you, bro, like, go back to 1 year ago. Today's what, January 14th, right? January 14th a year ago. 2019. Talk to that Joe. What words of wisdom would you tell that version of Joe today? The reason why I'm asking you that is because somebody right now who's watching this is that version of you. Mm-hmm. And they're at that state of mind right now. They would love to hear what you have to say to them.
If I could talk to myself at that point in my life, I would tell myself 3 things. Number 1, trust your gut. If you feel like you truly have a passion for the field of physical therapy, pursue that dream, or else you're going to live the rest of your life regretting that decision to not go for it. Secondly, do the work. Very simple, very short, very sweet, but the result does not come if the work is not put in. And I could have saved myself a lot of time and a lot of stress if I had done the work when I had intended to. Everything ended up working out in the long run, thank God, but do the work. I promise you it will pay off. And thirdly, be yourself. That's the way that I can say it best. Be your authentic self, and that will shine through no matter what situation you're in within the process.
That was powerful, man. That was powerful.
I appreciate it.
Can we give Joe a round of applause, y'all? And just to thank you. Thank you so much, Joe, for taking time out of your evening.
Oh, it's my pleasure, man. Absolutely my pleasure.
Oh, bro, you brought the heat. I'm telling you, you're a public speaker. I don't know what, like I said, I don't know what your plans are, man. But you are a public speaker, period, just naturally. But man, thank you so much for enlightening us and just pouring life into pre-PTs. I love your energy, bro. And I just can't wait to see you continue to win. Keep serving the profession, man. And let's keep killing it, bro. All right,
let's keep killing it,
man. They all said thank you to you, man. But all in all, for all of y'all watching, we'll see you guys on Sunday. If you have not registered, I would highly advise that you do, because if you don't, FOMO is a real thing. But I'm being so serious. Like, this is unlike anything we've done yet. So you want to be there. So go to leveluptoprept.com if you want to register for it. It's at 12 p.m. Eastern time, but y'all can get access to the replay as well. But all in all, y'all have a blessed one. Joe, thank you once again. Have a great rest of your evening.
Jones, appreciate you. Have a good night.
Thank you, brother.